Hi, my name is Reese's Patriot, and this is Common Ground Media. All right, so let's talk about racism. And let's talk about how Russia has been using this as a weapon against America. Um, you send a man like Ron Johnson with preconceived beliefs about his superiority in his race over to meet a man like Putin who assures him he now has power behind him. Well, Ron Johnson wasn't the only one. We also had a president who was beholden to the same mentality. Folks, these people have been messing around in our internet for years now. This isn't something new. I come out of the renewable energy industry and I've written some articles that got a lot of views. And a common theme that I saw with every single one of them was out of Eastern Europe and Russian bloc countries, I would see these comments start coming. And first, it would start in support of nuclear. And it would perplex me because these were very oil driven countries that this was coming out of. Um, and what I started understanding is they were just trying to create arguments here, is all they were trying to do because they knew there were factions inside the United States. One supports nuclear, the other one supports oil, the other one supports renewables. You know, started playing these factions against each other. They weren't the only ones. I watched out of Saudi Arabia and surrounding countries do the exact same thing. Well, along comes Trump. Exact same bot farms and exact same formulas started popping up over on Facebook, and I saw it hit Twitter. Well, I didn't think that there was much chance with this thing over on Facebook just because of the way Mark Zuckerberg was playing around with Russia. So, but I did know that Trump had his biggest voice over on Twitter. So in 2015, I jumped on Twitter. I have seen nonstop this racist bent to this entire situation. Every time I drill down to a response that comes at me, if it's from outside the United States, it for sure is coming with a racist twist to it. If it's from here, I do see that. Um, but they are like the hardest core of Trump supporters. I don't see it like common from the general Republican sector like it appears to be. What these people do is they make it appear that the voice is much bigger. So they get one or two here that believe in what they're saying, like Ron Johnson or Matt Gatz, and then they pile on and make that message look like it's getting a lot more press and a lot more attention than it actually is. Well, of course, we start seeing that attention and we respond in kind, and it gets even bigger. And it's this game they've been playing for a long time, and why I'm doing this show. I am tired of responding, and some of my responses, they get up into the millions once in a while. Well, it's doing nothing but helping these guys push their stupid propaganda machine that is inside of our internet. We know it's there. We see it's there. How many of us resist? Look at that and go, that is a bot, and that's not from here. We see it all the time. Having said that, it does not mean I'm stopping on Twitter and I'm going to stop responding there. I just think that this is a lot more effective format. In if I'm going to particularly go after somebody like Ron Johnson, I don't want Ron Johnson's tweets getting bigger. I want everybody to understand that Ron Johnson is a racist and he's beholden to Putin. That makes him, sorry about that. Anyways, Ron Johnson and his connection inside of Russia, well, he's not the only one. There are several of these guys that, for some reason, they think it's okay to be beholden to an enemy of the United States. Saudi Arabia is a prime example. What in the world are we doing in bed with a country that sent people to our country to attack us? I don't know. I like why we consistently say that we do not negotiate with terrorists. And yet here we are. Trump went right in and negotiated weapons to these guys. Jared Kushner gets $1 billion loan out of the deal. This is ridiculous. We need to start talking about the facts. The news wants to talk about the border. The border stacked up 4 years. Trump and Stephen Miller stacked these people up over on the other side of the border, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And of course, when Biden gets elected and says, "Okay, we got a problem here. Let's start working on this," they come rushing across. Well, when they come rushing across, you know, it is a very small world down there when it comes to communication. It takes one phone call, one email, and boom, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, man, help is on the way." And the rush is on. Well, you know, this is not something that's new. You stack that up for 4 years, and it is a huge wave that is about to hit. And I am absolutely impressed that with the amount of people that hit that border when we first said, okay, we got to do something about this, of how quickly we have jumped up to address the problem. Is more problems erupting from it? Of course, man. This thing stacked up for 4 years. It's inherited problems that happens every time Democrats get in office. Here comes the Democrat and its bankrupted country and ethic violations like you would not believe across the board. One thing I will say is Trump was really good at inserting his racist belief system into and destruction of our government into every place he could find. The social security, you name it, he did it. Every organization we have, and they began dismantling our government. DeJoy dismantling our post office. The guy at the social security office, same thing. These guys came in to dismantle our government. Who dismantles our government except for enemies of our government? They didn't get their way, so they literally get people together to attack our country. If DC had not been a gun free zone, I beg to differ with you that that would have been a very different situation. One of the things we want to do with this show is, feature people and their tweets. Um, and, I don't want to like pick anyone out specifically every time. Um, so I'm going to start out with Bad Company. Um, I went to Fox News for 10 minutes. Holy crap, man. Holy crap. It's my reaction too. Every time I go over there, Tucker Carlson's trying to start a race war, Hannity to write in on it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This racism thing has got to stop. And we have one of the biggest drivers of this that admit they're doing it. Tucker Carlson is very aware that he's gaslighting America on this racist issue. Very aware. So they get away with saying this stuff because their claim is they're not really news, that they are entertainment, that they are a news show. And this is a response. This show is a response to that. You know, they get to say whatever they want to say and gaslight America. Well, I'm going to come back with some gaslighting facts. And you know what? How I get those? I get those from Resist, because most of these folks go and fact check their stuff. Do we get it wrong? Yeah, we get it wrong all the time. The other day or yesterday I tweeted out, um, that the shooter in Colorado, he got apprehended, and I just wondered aloud, does apprehended mean he was white? Well, he's Syrian. He looks white, but he has a Syrian name. Wow, the racism that came rolling out of that. Tell these bot farms, man, they come in and they're just like, one will make a comment, and then they'll all just insidiously start building off of that. Um, it's sick. Let's talk about this guy in Lisbon, Ohio. Um, I posted this the other day on Twitter, and so this guy, he claims he didn't go into the Capitol, but he was on the steps of the Capitol at the insurrection. He has a coffee shop in Lisbon, Ohio. Well, apparently he put out a message that, if you're a libtard, you're not allowed at my coffee shop. And oh, if you're transgender, you're not allowed at my coffee shop. This gaslighting thing that they like to do. Um, you know, is it helping him sell more coffee by us talking about this? I don't think so. I think this man needs to be called out. This is absolutely, we have a seditionist that is daring America, come and get me. Well, here you go. So, Adam Newbold, a retired Navy SEAL from Lisbon, is the owner of C4 Coffee. So, we got an insurrectionist, came out of the military, and daring America to come get him, you know, as a veteran. Game on, brother. I don't care if you served in the military or not. I did too. That's not the point. The point is when you're right, you're right, and when you're wrong, you're wrong. And I'm right on this. Racism is wrong, and it's tearing this country apart. Knock it off. Grow up. So I want to ask a question here. I so one of the things in Resist is there were a lot of us that, we provided uh, content. I tried to keep mine really resist orientated, and why I built a lot of videos, um, so that I could keep my postings that way and keep them a little bit original. Although, don't use other people's music. But my point is I'm seeing now, there's not a whole bunch of Trump stuff going on. So, there's time for us to look at other stuff, um, and my question for you is, do you think, by posting cute videos once in a while, that's appropriate? I do, and I'll tell you why. I nonstop for 4 years was I made 3 to 4 videos, sometimes 8 a day, um, memes and gifs, and man, I got washed out. One of the things that I always did is I went over and I would watch something cute, whether it was puppies or kittens or, you know, animals. Just they're all, and especially baby animals are always cute. And for this reason, we're bringing on Mike the Goat Guy on his show to add to our streaming, because I do think it's important as we dive into some of these subjects that are pretty heavy subjects, that we have a place to go wash the eyeballs, wash the brain. It can start getting fuzzy on us and we start getting really angry. I do sometimes. Some of these very racist, inflammatory, gaslighting uh, tweets that Trump would make, there were several times that I regretted what I said, because it had gotten me so angry that I said things I know I would never say in my right mind. Um, but I said them. Um, and it shows you how effective that form of propaganda and gaslighting actually is. Um, so I started using it against them, and that was how I really got into the video thing. Is um, I literally started taking some of the ones he was posting and remaking them, um, to work against him, and they worked well. But um, yeah, so let's go with Mike the Goat Guy and wash some eyeballs and clean the brain a little bit. All right, thank you.